coming up, we've got CIS Rejects versus Team Liquid. We're into game 2. I'm, again, Llama Down Under, joined by PqMz. You mentioned you think that they really just need to ban out the Tusk.
Yeah, I think that's what enabled most of what happened last game. They could also opt to pick it because they're first. They ended up banning out other heroes instead. And we actually see a Lina ban, which is very old, I feel like. Not very much this patch, in the first stage at least.
It's a hero Icebog's really good on, and now with the IO showing up, it's certainly a hero that can take advantage of that, you know, burst down the IO really quickly, and then whoever you're pairing with the IO, most commonly a Tiny, is half as strong.
It might also just be a fact that they're quite happy to trade the Tusk for the IO and just wanted to ban a hero that you said one of them is fairly good on.
Yeah, it might have been the whole, you ban out the Lina, and then at least the Tusk or the IO gets through. And Tusk, Wyvern, a good start at dealing with an IO, certainly. Wyvern's going to be able to use Winter's Curse, potentially on the IO, having whoever is paired up with him kill him off, and Tusk can always do that sneaky, we've seen it before, Shadow Blade to assassinate IO.
Yeah, or if he's a poor man's Tusk, you can just roll through and get on the IO instead. And there's not too much you can do about it.
Reserve time.
Especially if his tether's on cooldown.
Yeah. So, CIS Rejects, I wonder exactly who they're going to pair up with this, having a quick look over some other heroes that they've run. We'll take a look to see if any of that gets illuminated. Of course, the most common one is Tiny, which they have played on CIS Rejects. And that seems to be about it for heroes that they've played with an IO. Potentially also a Legion commander.
I think Tiny's best option in general at the moment. They opt to not pick him now. I'm pretty sure they'll be banned. Sorry, Liquid will ban out the Tiny. I don't think there's too many other like solid options. Bristol's fairly bad against Wyvern for obvious reasons. Tusk also kites him fairly well. K, obviously not too good against either of them.
Yeah.
So I would be surprised if they opt away from the Tiny.
Do you think CIS okay, they go for the Tiny. What other support would you like to see here paired up with the IO?
Really depends on what they want from the rest of their lanes and maybe what they see from Liquid as well. If they see like a fairly weak offlaner, maybe something like an Earthshaker, they could get away with a solo hero and then maybe get like Undying +1 bottom or Spirit Breaker +1. Do something more aggressive.
Yeah.
But seeing how Team Liquid played last game, they might opt for something a bit more defensive to pair with the Wisp. Like a Dazzle plus Wisp, maybe.
Yeah, it feels like a Dazzle plus Wisp is a bit too defensive, almost. Your supports don't have... Of course, once the Relocator's up, you have plenty of gank potential, but before that, your smoke game is a bit low.
Reserve time.
I don't think it's too much of a problem if in the first 5 to 6 minutes, if you pause on the ones you rely on, you're obviously not going to smoke with them. But it's just how they want to play the game, honestly. I don't think there's too many bad supports that they could pick now, because IO and Tiny can just, you know, carry the game on their own.
Yeah. Now, do you think this Tusk, we just saw a really fantastic support Tusk, he could do it again as support, or it can be offlane. Both Jerax and Mind Control really good at the hero. And I like seeing that type of flexibility, but it can also always be, this could be a QoP mid or a QoP offlane. Do you prefer the Tusk support? Because now you have to play it into an IO Tiny potentially mid.
I think it's just a much better hero as a support. However, if the lanes don't go as they want, they'll probably want to match Tusk and QoP against IO Tiny. If that's a case of they do it mid, then that's even better for Team Liquid. It's just if CIS opt to swap up their lanes a tiny bit, which is a bit more uncommon in general.
And Team Liquid...
Yeah, I think we've only seen once where IO Tiny goes short lane, as you were saying.
You're cutting out a tiny bit, so you might need to move your mic closer. I don't know if it's already in your mouth. Could be. But, Juggernaut... Huh?
It was close to in my mouth.
Okay.
It's a tiny bit closer now.
Yeah, excellent. Just get right in there. Anyway, Juggernaut gonna be picked up. Maybe Team Liquid gonna show them how it's done. I feel like Juggernaut's also a hero, certainly not the same way Gyrocopter can, but he can go pretty ham with that spin. I'm really interested though why Team Liquid prefer the Juggernaut here over the Gyrocopter. They have another lineup which I feel could really benefit from a Gyrocopter. Is it just that he's too squishy compared to the Night Stalker potentially?
And Night Stalker's good at running at you. Bane locks you down very well. IO and Tiny burst you exceptionally
This all
well.
applies
so...
to Jug, though, I feel. I mean, yes, you can potentially get the spin and dodge some of this, but you're still gonna get crippling feared from Fog in nighttime by the Night Stalker and silenced for 5 seconds. Bane has Fiend's Grip that goes on for years. I mean, I'm not
You
quite...
have to take that into account for all the carries, so Jug I think is just one that fits into their playstyle, and it has the potential to be good against the heroes as opposed to like a PL or, as you said, the Gyro. I think it's just something they're comfortable playing. And I agree it does have counters this game, but I don't think it's overwhelming for them to opt out of picking it.
Yeah. So...
Could always go bad mid-game though.
Yes, it's entirely possible, and another nice thing about the lineup involving IO and Tiny is we've seen this before. It's a lineup that can be really deep in the hole and still backdoor all of your towers.
Rat Dota strats.
Yeah. Now, Team Liquid, do you think offlaner or support? I actually would like to see another support to help out this Jug, because I feel like a Tusk offlaner here pretty swell, although CIS Rejects haven't revealed their next core.
Yeah, I think it's a real big problem when you don't see the core, because right now they know what CIS want to do, but that last hero can put it in a completely different perspective of certain timing windows, how you want to lane. I think they'll just put Jerax on the Tusk because he played so well last game, and it gives the potential for him and the Quap to completely wreck the game for the first 10 minutes or so. And Wyvern Jug can do a fairly good job against Night Stalker plus Bane. It's probably not a one lane, but they should be able to farm, which is enough for the Jug.
Can you run a Huskar here for CIS Rejects? I guess Queen of Pain has quite a bit of pure damage, and sure, Omni Slash is physical, but they don't have anything that... I mean, okay, Walrus Punch is also physical, and with the Batrider from Team Liquid, I'm really interested to see how they land this.
They could fit a Huskar in, actually. That's like really greedy cheese stuff, but they could definitely, because transition the Tiny into a Space Maker, if he gets like a 12-minute blink, got the Night Stalker running at people, you've got like a really strong fighting lineup that then can also transition into Roche, pushing towers. It could definitely work out. They opt to go for that.
It would be difficult here, I think, though, just for the Huskar, since there is a decent amount of lockdown, pure damage, and a lot of physical stuff. You know, you're trying to be all fancy with your omelet toggling, and then you take a Walrus Punch to the face, you're dead. So it's a bit rough, but at the same time, this Batrider, I'm not sure whether he'll be mid or the Queen of Pain will be mid, just because both can be played mid or off lane. But if he can get something out of this off lane, the Batrider, I think, early Blink Dagger on him, maybe someone stacks the jungle, he's just going to destroy the IO Tiny combo, because you can just come in, grab one of them, and it doesn't matter. Usually the IO.
Can play both ways, though. The IO can also completely counter the Batrider on every 90 seconds.
Yes.
Blinks in, lassos, you tether, reload. Go both ways for sure.
Definitely something where I think that I think you have to go on the IO in this combination, just because, as you mentioned, otherwise you get heavily punished. And Fodder is on the Queen of Pain, so it is going to be a mid-quap coming out. Matamba Man on the Juggernaut. We'll see how crazy he gets this game. And Batrider going to be played up by Mind Control, most likely. Although, no, I'm not going to say the crazy thing.
When you said Fatter's playing, I just looked at Beastmaster and presumed you said Beastmaster, because that's like his hero, and it's not on him, which feels weird.
Yeah, it's also particularly interesting because this is apparently a farming Beastmaster, 666 who played the Juggernaut last game, and Afterlife who typically plays their offlaner on the Night Stalker. It's not like Beastmaster can't build for a more farming-oriented lineup, and certainly getting up the Necronomicon books will help out. I mean, with his Inner Beast and Necronomicon, this Tiny doesn't maybe need as much as he would normally.
Yeah, it's Croaky Bat.
Yeah, so that's the crazy thing I was gonna say. I was like, maybe it can be a support Batrider, but I thought that was a bit too outlandish.
Actually, I suppose it's doable. There is a lot of potential that the Night Stalker Bane just runs at you from the offlane. But at the same time, it's quite hard to run past a Jug and a Wyvern. And Quap can also blink from the mid lane. She has pretty good range. So maybe they can get away with it.
I'm not sure whether they're trying an experimental draft because they've clearly got one game up and maybe feeling dominant over CIS Rejects, but either way, let's quickly introduce the players on CIS Rejects. We've got Go Black, the captain, on that Bane, Always Wanna Fly on the IO, Iceberg on that mid Tiny, Afterlife on the offlane Night Stalker, and Beastmaster, played by 666, heading up top with 2 mangoes.
Over for Liquid, we've got Kuroki on the 4 position bat, as we mentioned earlier, Fatter on the Qua, Jerax on his Wyvern, Mind Control playing the Tusk this time, as opposed to Jerax last time, and Matumba Man on a carry that can run at you similar to last game, Big Jug.
Oh, we have an engagement with Matumba Man. I don't know if you want to be here. Fodder actually gonna try to auto-attack into them, and Matumba Man, you're getting auto-attack down. He's gonna be their first blood. One more, they get it. And now, let's see if they can find any sort of follow-up. Kuroki dropping those sticky napalms. Go Black taking quite a bit of damage. Can Io save him? Kuroki's going in for more sticky napalm. The Brain Sap comes out, and they should be able to have it. And now Afterlife as well. This team fight, while they got the first blood on CIS Rejects, if they can get a secondary kill, it's definitely in favor, I would argue. Oh no, both are gonna go down. Always Wanna Fly taking quite a bit of damage. Kuroki on the backlines too. Void isn't gonna be up in time, and they have gotten Always Wanna Fly and the Night Stalker. A 3-for-1, definitely a favorable first trade.
Worth.
Yeah, it's still worth it even though they were at lanes late, I think, as well.
Yeah, the bat denies himself, so he's gonna miss 1 stack. I don't know, maybe he can probably TP to the tier 2 and get... Okay, maybe not. So he's gonna miss 1 stack, which kind of sucks. But he needs to get level 2 anyway, so he'll probably go bottom to grab that somewhere.
But despite missing a bunch of CS, Fata is already level 2, so doing fine on levels and should be feeling okay against this IO tiny lane. Now, we've got Jerax popping his head out middle. He can certainly be a real pain here. Octic burning, yeah, there he goes on the IO, actually bringing some hurt into Tiny. Of course, it's % health base, so never want to take that. And oh, the balls come out from Always Wanna Fly. Gonna just hit Fodder a little bit in the face, but should be nothing. In this type of dual lane, I think it's really scary for a Queen of Pain, because if you misblink once, you go down.
I think the biggest deal right now is the bottle from Wisp was delayed. And it's on par with the Quap's bottle, who also bought a full set of items to start the game. Just getting that exchange early meant she got like 600-700 gold. Now she's gonna have to sustain to be able to trade with the IO Tiny, and that's a really big deal. I think that single-handedly won the lane.
Yeah.
You normally get the advantage by spamming out your balls from the Wisp. Tiny will toss several times, and then Quap will have to back off. You'll bottle up, rinse, repeat. But now Quap's on a par with you. She can probably trade better.
And Mind Control, he's gone for the kind of creep trap, but he's actually taking a lot of damage from the slow and IO. Goodness. Getting really low, and I think he's just dead. The stream is going to finish him off, and with a haste rune, they're going in on Iceberg next. Iceberg taking a lot of damage. The Arctic Burn has ended. Can Fodder secure this? He's monaing up, and he should be able to just get in range of a Scream. Actually going, he can do both. Oh no, he can't. He's only got mana for 1. Just leaps over the Tiny. It was level 1 Scream, okay. So I feel like he maybe could have gone a little bit more ham, but deciding to conserve his mana and not be out of position when the IO came back.
It's much better for your lane dominance as well, because if he didn't kill the Tiny, he'd have got comboed, probably lost all his health, and then he'd have to play passive for the next few minutes while he waited for his bottle to go back. Now he's full HP, he's lacking a tiny bit of mana, but it's not a problem.
Yeah.
But it's nice that he, like, restrained himself from going in there, because you saw as soon as he got fogged, he was, like, contemplating it.
Unfortunately, they didn't get the toss onto Fodder, but they still do a good bit of damage. And it's what you talked about. You go for the toss combo.
Beastmaster's going down.
Oh, Beastmaster, yeah. Arctic Burn. This is Jerax being mobile, just like last time on the Tusk. Really well played from him.
I'm really surprised, considering he went for the 102 build at level 2, that he's getting this much work done. But it's just how he plays, honestly. He's one of the few people that makes this work time and time again.
He knows exactly where he needs to be, it seems, and Kuroki just kind of playing this weird support Batrider, farming down bottom, also making sure to get the pulls off to help out the Jugs lane, and the Avalanche missing means that Iceberg misses out on a good opportunity to bring a world of hurt to Fodder.
Getting his stacks as well, so this bat's gonna have a really good time to start, I think.
And he gets a salve from Matumba Man. What a bro.
Gonna miss 1 because of that, but he's gonna go for the rune instead.
Yeah. And it's not just the bat. Of course, bat, it's nice to get the stacks so that you can get an early blink dagger, but if Quap ends up maybe taking a tumble in mid, they can always give the stacks to her and really help her out.
I think you completely rely on them as a Batrider this game, though. Because of where else do you get your items? And
Radiant's
how
middle
useful
tower
are
is
you
under
without a
attack.
blink?
You just cry softly and firefly. But
I mean, he's the captain, right? He's gonna tell Fada, no, my stacks, my
Yeah.
stacks.
and
Gonna
that's
assert his authority.
they're gonna place a ward, but it's gonna be seen Jerax. He might take a toss. I don't know if the balls will be quite enough to kill him, but here comes Sparta. Only level 5 though, Jerax with the cold embrace. Do they have more? The ball is gonna hit, but now Iceberg, his avalanche just coming off of the toss coming off of cooldown. It's a 1-for-1 exchange. The IO going down first. Can Sparta get anything else done here? He has to know that there's no mana on Tiny, although he does have 5-1 charges. Sparta blinks forward, gets immediately tossed, and there is gonna be a silence as well. Even if not for the silence, Sparta doesn't have blink. So Iceberg getting himself a nice, sweet double kill. And a small mistake coming out of Fodder. I don't think he was expecting and really had no way of seeing the rotation from the Night Stalker.
That was really nice bait.
I think,
And yeah, really nice rotation as well from Afterlife.
yeah, just saying, hey, offlane's being a bit of a pain, let me come down. And he also went this route for it, so avoided the wards that both teams know. Well, actually, I think that the Radiant know that there's a ward there. And
They should.
Yeah, they placed their second. So we have Quopped again doing a bit of damage, but at the same time, here comes the Night Stalker. They're gonna go on the Wyvern this time. Jerax, the weapon of the target of choice. At the same time, Iceberg, he's gonna get screamed down. Jerax is somehow still alive. Warrior's Punch takes out the IO, and Afterlife left in no man's land. Shadow Strike should be coming right off of cooldown. He does manage to get the kill on Wyvern, but I think they're content with this, and Fodder just gonna auto attack down Afterlife. But he is a tanky hero. One more should do it, and yeah, he'll burn out to the Shadow Strike at the very least. Fodder blinking in just in case it's not enough. So, well played.
Yeah, at least they get the kill on the Wyvern, but I think that was extremely ambitious to like run past the Quap. When your Tiny's I don't know, he's probably 200, 300 HP at the time. Ghost was healing him up, but it's only so much when the Quap does a lot of damage like that.
Yeah, the Quap had made sure to bring Tiny low, and it was kind of one of those, okay, if you go on me, you're gonna die as well, and in fact, everybody from CIS Rejects going down. So, on the upside, Afterlife is a level 5 offlane Night Stalker at 6 minutes in, and he has gotten a couple kills in this first nighttime, and Matumba Man maybe next. They can silence him right out of this, and they do go for that. They have also got the Brain Sap. It should be enough auto-attack damage, but is a Sonic Wave going to come and help out? He tries to bottle, and Fodder suddenly no mana for any of this. He's overstayed his welcome. He's just going to go down. Kuroki desperately trying to help, but that's what you talked about. What can a Batrider do without levels and without Blink?
I mean, he's on par for levels, he's level 5, but that's just the hero. And that was really close actually. The Omni Slash was like mid-animation, Fada nearly bottled him through the auto attack. I think if he got that off, he'd still have died, but they might have been able to take a kill with him. And then Fada would also probably have lived.
And with those series of kills, CIS Rejects bringing us back down to almost even. So, I think that
under attack.
Liquid certainly have a nice... Oh, Omni Slash just used on Goldblack. Spin should be able to get him the kill, and Goldblack's gonna fall despite trying for the Nightmare Deny, so a nice little play there. And great prejudice against the boar. I like that. And at the same time, Iceberg, he's trying to just go for the TP out. Do they have anything to stop him? He looks like he's gonna be fine. Well played there on Iceberg.
Tower is under attack.
Fortunately, the TP just too long from the Tusk. Having any stuns on the Wyvern yet?
Yeah.
Should be able to get it soon though. He's nearly level 5 and he has plenty of stacks to leech experience from if Kuroki lets him.
Speaking of stacks, we have very few coming out for Tiny. Actually, as I say that, always want to fly, trying to make sure there are a few up. When it comes to an IO, you generally want... If you can get level 6 before 10 minutes, you're doing fantastically. If you can get level 6 12 minutes, you're still probably happy, and a lot of that relies on you have to stack up for the Tiny and then sap experience when he goes to do those. So having those known about by Jerax, or by Mind Control, not helpful.
Oh, Black's in some trouble here. It looks like they're going to try and... they're not willing to go too far. Beastmaster, on the other hand, is just casually drive-bying.
Yeah, the sticky
They scattered the
napalm...
stacks.
I think both sides well aware of the other stacks.
Maybe Liquid don't know so much about how much CIS have been stacking. Oh, sorry, CIS. Yeah, I did say CIS.
Yeah, you did.
So it's like messing with my head now if I'm saying CSI or not.
It does that.
Yeah, I blame you.
I think that's
That's on
valid.
you.
I mean, I have that same trouble, but yeah, I have to check every time now. Game slowing down a bit, both teams wanting to farm a little bit more before they engage, and Kuroki finally taking an opportunity to do some of these stacks, not getting as much as he wants, but I heard a Primal Roar, and they're going to... Oh, they kill off the Juggernaut, sorry. Missed a kill there. Didn't quite see him go down as he was almost close to dying. And KuroKy, again, he's trying to chase, but not quite there yet. Mind Control even coming down. Does manage to get off a nice shards block, but it's not enough. And Matombaman having a much rougher time this game than last game. He is 5th on the net worth and has 3 deaths.
Yeah, they're doing a much better job of keeping tempo themselves this time, as opposed to letting Liquid dictate it like they did last game. In case you didn't know, it was just a smoke rotation. And they used the Fiend script like last second, but I don't think they actually needed it, so kind of small unfortunate waste. It's 60 seconds left, they won't mind too much.
Yeah, and they've taken a few stacks out on Iceberg. He looks like he's going the drums rush, so there probably won't be an early... Well, that's fun for KuroKy. There probably won't be the early Blink Dagger up on Iceberg, but they're doing a lot better than they were last game. They're certainly not being run down, and once the Beastmaster, he is getting decent levels, there's going to be a lot of attack speed coming out for this Tiny very early on.
I think when you have the supporting cast that he does, he can't afford to go Blink. He needs to go for the carry items, so I'd fully expect him to transition to Ags now. I mean, maybe you could look into a Shadow Blade, but I feel like that's overkill. When you've already got the Beastmaster, you've got the Night Stalker, they're the ones that are going to initiate for you and control the map.
Now,
Not your
Matombaman...
job.
Yeah. Matombaman has headed up top. Afterlife, maybe his target of gank, but Afterlife, a Night Stalker, this is a really hard guy to gank. He's got already 8 armor up at this point and rocking a little over 1,000 health, so not the easiest kill in the book. And 11-minute level 6 on the IO, it's very happy about that.
Yeah, now it's gonna make Liquid play a lot differently as well, because Fury, you want the bat to get his blink,
Oh, Primal Roar onto bottom, onto Fodder, and the Fiend Script. They have more than enough damage to burn him down, and no return kills anywhere for Liquid across the map. Well played there. Primal Roar's connecting everywhere. And this partner duo, I hadn't thought of it before, but Primal Roar into Fiend Script, pretty dang good.
Yeah,
oh,
it's actually really tough.
Yeah, it looks like Matombaman is gonna fall. KuroKy is trying to get something done. There's snowballs all over the place. Warrior's Punch, they managed to take out the Wisp, but Iceberg, he's just standing there taking it. Finally, they are lassoing him through the ice shards, maybe. They've killed off the Wyvern as well, though, and I don't know if Mind Control has anything left in the tank. He's silenced up. KuroKy going around, lickety-split with that haste, trying to just burn them all, but he's getting tossed on, and he may take a tumble here himself. He tries to get out of there. He's very low on the health. He's under 100, and here comes Afterlife, gonna just probably void him down. Goodbye, KuroKy. Even haste not saving you now. And Mind Control unable to get anything off of the back of that, and feeding a Sigil to Goldblack as well.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Sigil. It's like 100 at all levels, I believe. Maybe it scales a tiny bit, I'm not too sure on that. Been a while since I played Tusk.
So, CIS Rejects firmly taking a lead. We've got another kill, though, going down here. Matombaman trying to pick off Goldblack, and he gets it. Afterlife now, realizing he didn't quite want to come in there. But here comes the IO Tiny. Matombaman silenced up again by Crippling Fear, and it looks like Iceberg's gonna be getting himself another kill. And Mind Control just gonna fall. Balls to the face. Trying to get off the IO first, trying to kill him a couple more attacks, but no such luck. And now the Winter's Curse, are they going in one by one? They have Batrider coming in, but Jerax may fall as well. Falling apart, it feels like, for Liquid. Just not fighting cohesively as a team. With no lasso, this is super ambitious, although Fodder comes in. He could have Sonic Waved. He doesn't go for it. They're going to manage to make him not take any physical damage. Afterlife has got something for him. It's called a Silence. It's called a Void. And Fodder is going down. KuroKy is trying to salvage this team fight, but they're all dying. And I think KuroKy is going to fall too. He's going to finally be out of Firefly, and yeah, just voided off. That was a disastrous team fight for Liquid.
And they managed to hit the tower tonight as well. It's like these teams are just completely swapped. Last game, Liquid were just running at them, playing the fights pretty much perfectly. And now it's swapped where Liquid are running at them and CIS know exactly what's happening. They're baiting the spells out. The heroes are just surviving. They're narrowly getting away, and they're getting 10 kills all the time.
I think a huge difference in this game, of course, is the level of farm on Matombaman and the levels. He is not doing nearly as well. Taking a look around... Ooh, could be Midas time as well for Afterlife, depending on what he wants. Also, Fodder didn't dominate that mid lane. Yeah, he's level 11, but so is the offlane Beastmaster.
I think most of that just comes down to... Tiny Wisp is just such a strong combo. can't deal with it, and they tried this game. They didn't have a bad time with it early, but just one or two mistakes.
Oh, a Sonic Wave comes out. A really good job of kiting around Icebow. Can Mind Control survive? He's taking no physical damage with the balls to the face. The nice Omni Slash coming out of Matumba Man, and it looks like this team fight going in favor of Liquid. They stop the IO from relocating out, and Tiny is gonna fall as well. So well played there for Liquid, and they get themselves much needed kills, saving everyone. A lot of that, I think, off the back of Matumba Man coming in there, killing off the Bane before he could really disable anyone there.
And I also think that was the worst relocate in Dota history. He literally tethered him from around this and relocated him on top of where he already was. Obviously, I think that was to try and break a lasso that he presumed was coming, and he wanted to do it like preemptively to get it off as soon as possible. But he should have just saved the Tiny there, I think.
So Liquid
That was a really bad situation.
Yeah, CIS Rejects after that team fight, we're back down, right down to even between these two teams. So we've got a lot of golds finally saved up on Kuroki. It's going to be Blink Dagger probably after this wave. If this game goes late, who do you give the advantage to?
That's actually really hard to say, because Batrider's amazing at playing the late game, but when you have Hawk plus Night Vision from the Night Stalker, Vision game generally wins. But Liquid can play around it. They have options. Not like they're going to straight up lose. So I think it's just going to come down to execution, honestly. Either side can win late, I'd say. It's probably a bit easier for CIS if the Tiny's top of the network and the other two supporting casts are doing their job.
There's quite a bit on both of these sides of delete one hero from an engagement, one being with Lasso. Of course, you can remove someone now having that Blink Dagger up, and then of course Fiend's Grip being the other. Is Fodder again the target of choice? He is able to blink away, but Nighttime has been popped. And let's see if they can make anything happen. But Tiny is just farming up a storm. He's getting really close to the Aghanims, and I agree with this decision. If you can delay the next fight till you have your Ags, do maybe a surprise relocate gank with that, you're feeling solid.
Yeah, and the other three heroes are doing a really good job of making space, applying pressure, so they don't have time to go on the Tiny Wisp. If they aren't showing in the regions where like the Beastmaster's going, they're going to know that they're going for the IO Tiny, so they can probably back off. So they're playing this to a T right now, knowing exactly what they need to do. The Ags is coming up soon. Not the fastest Ags in the world, but considering they were down a tiny bit, and they just lost a team fight, not too bad.
Another thing I wanted to mention is that Fata has also decided to go for the Aghanims upgrade, and Iceman, of course, working on what I'm assuming is going to be Oli, Gaudy, and Greaves to deal with the crippling fear. Because he can save a lot of people. If he gets silenced, of course, he wants to get off that crippling fear so that he can save someone using the snowball. Certainly can pop someone out of a Fiend's Grip with that, or stop the Fiend's Grip entirely. But also, if somebody else is being silenced up, he might just put them in the snowball to save them. Because right now they've been doing like, oh, Fata, he's in trouble, let's cold embrace him, and then it's just leading to crippling fear.
Unfortunately, they have enough magic damage for the Cold Embrace to be fairly irrelevant at this point. It's one of those where you have to use it after all the spells, when the auto attacks are still there, and then by the time he comes out, the spells are all off cooldown again. It's just awkward.
Yeah, it's a bit rough here to be the Wyvern. You've got a lot you need to do and very little tools to do it. Another thing I wanted to mention is a really early Aghanims is going to be coming out of Afterlife. He's been having a grand old time. We often see this hero go Midas just because he does have some trouble farming, but here he's going to be fine.
Yeah, he's almost on pace with the Tiny Axe timing, which is impressive.
Of course, Tiny going another... Yeah, he's been in a lot of kills, the main thing. Of course, Tiny's got a number of items in between, but still, really good when you consider how those positions rotate. And Necrobook 3 already up on this Beastmaster.
Yeah, as soon as that comes off cooldown, I think that's a huge timing window, because I'll have both the Ags in the next 60 seconds. As long as the courier doesn't die or something stupid, then they'll be at a peak.
And we got Ags number 1 up on Tiny. As you said, Ags number 2 can be delivered to Night Stalker when the courier is done. So, as Team Liquid, obviously you're expecting that after the Ags is up on the Night Stalker, they get a gem, they suddenly have all the vision in the world, plus the Hawk. It gets very hard to ward as Team Liquid. What do you do to deal with the lack of map vision?
Outplay them. either move them around the map in a way that you know is advantageous to you, but as it's so hard, honestly. If they have one hero in a lane, you can find out if it's bait so easily by sending a hawk behind them, having the Night Stalker just run in. You can pop a smoke and see them before they see the Night Stalker, so they have to guess. So you do just have to hope they make a mistake, I feel like. Or you just push out lanes with your ultimate like Bada's doing right now and back the hell off, which is probably the smartest thing.
Yeah, there's definitely a way to deal with IO and Tiny, which consists of you kind of walk around in groups, at least two, and so that if the relocate comes, you can back each other up or at least bail. It's kind of the old kangaroo sacrifice the current baby for the future ones, but that is neither here nor there. We've got a smoke up on 666 and Afterlife and Go Black. Let's see if they can make anything latch. They, of course, have the added vision from the Night Stalker, and they're going to actually see... I think they saw mind control there. They're wrapping around, and now instead they're gonna end up collapsing onto fodder. They've got a silence, they've got a primal roar, he is a goner, and instead they were rotating a lot on Liquid up top to contest this push, and there's nothing they can do. And I think if mind control goes in, he's gonna realize he's running into 3 and suddenly be put in a very bad spot. Although a snowball here may be punishing Golblack for his persistence, although at the same time they're losing Matomba Man on the top lane. Iceberg just going ham. He's gonna turn around and hit him. They go for the Omni slash snowball coming in. Always want to fly is down. Ice Shards, Walrus Punch. Is there enough damage? Iceberg still alive. Matomba Man needs to come in and help out here, but instead Iceberg's just gonna TP out. No lucky crits for them.
Radiant's top tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
RNG not in their favor
Dire's
this
bottom
time.
tower
But you
is
could
under
also
attack.
argue he could have got craggied, he could have crit. You know,
Radiant's
so many
middle
things
tower
could have
is under
caused
attack.
something to happen there.
Yeah.
But
Overall,
only losing the Wisp is not too bad there, considering how deep they went and Omni got expended.
yeah, also they picked up the Quap in the meantime and bought more space. I mean, Quap being down again, just not a great time. What is going on here? Kuroki in no man's land. I'm not quite sure why he was up there. Probably a warding mission?
Didn't have one on him, so maybe trying to take the woods away? I honestly didn't even see him go up there.
Yeah.
I was contemplating other things and then Wild Batman appears.
Yep, suddenly Kuroki. Now, I have to imagine Tusk is working on a Blink next.
I think so. I don't think Force is anywhere near as good. As you say, you want to blink in, snowball someone to save them from Fiend's Grip, Roar, etc. He's like the best hero against that kind of strategy.
Yeah. You can put someone in Snowball for almost the entire duration of quite a few of those spells. It's just a bit shorter than the stun duration on Roar, and also a bit shorter than Bane's, or the launch time of the Snowball, a bit shorter than Bane's Fiend's Grip. But I guess there's also the roll time, so you might end up taking the entire stun off.
I'm pretty sure as soon as you get taken into the Snowball, it removes it anyway. Like, at least Fiend's Grip. Maybe it doesn't remove the Roar, but by the time you've rolled, the Roar will probably be over.
Yeah, so...
Or just removing the focus of the rest of the team as opposed to stopping the CC.
100%. So we've got a very quick Roshan going to be falling, especially with the DD on Iceberg and the overcharge, but they know all about it on Liquid. Can they do anything? The Roshan pit fight isn't the best, although they do have Winter's Curse and Mind Control going in anyway. He's trying to take advantage of some of these low heroes. They're going on Always Wanna Fly and a Winter's Curse. Iceberg is gonna instead be in a lot of trouble. Always Wanna Fly is still alive though, but 666 has fallen, and with the Omni Slash, oh no, they're killing creeps. They need to do something about Iceberg, and they've got him once. Can they get him twice? They should be able to kite him around since he's alone, although he will be having an Avalanche Toss combo coming up. He is slowed. There is the buyback from Always Wanna Fly. He's coming back in to see about saving his Tiny. If he can just get him out there. Iceberg instead turning around, trying to do damage. They're both getting kited, and now Fodder actually in the danger zone. A toss up in 2 seconds. Avalanche toss combo up in 3, and now Always Wanna Fly. I think that's a dieback for him. Oh no, it wasn't actually a dieback. He managed to get out of there, but it looks like Kuroki gonna be the one taking the fall, and now Fodder should just walk away from this. I don't think it's worth it to keep going in here. Sonic Wave, though, do they have a Splinter Blast? Cold Embrace, and now Fodder blinking over them. He needs to get in some mad auto attacks, but I don't think he has it, and he may just go down here. Afterlife should go down first. No, instead he's gonna be just fine, and Tiny showing that he is the boss. And mad pings coming out from Kuroki.
Probably just explaining something like, no, we shouldn't have done this, or like, there could be a million things they're talking about there. That was so close to them getting the kills. But Tiny's tanky, and so's the Night Stalker. Even though he wants face boots, he is an armor lord.
Radiant's middle tower.
The IO relocated out of there. I think he attempted to save the Tiny, and then instead the Tiny died first, so he just solo relocated out.
Radiant's middle tower
Something
is
like
under
that
attack.
happened. He definitely didn't buy back as you were
Yeah,
saying.
he just
I
came
think
back
he
full
stayed
health, so I
there.
was super confused. But as you said, sleepy Dota costing, never again. So, this puts our tiny.
Say that, but it's always gonna happen.
No, I will get better sleep. I won't get food poison next time. So Assault Cuirass coming out on Tiny very shortly, and a good team fight for CIS Rejects. I think a lot of what was key, whereas a relocate is coming out top lane, Matomba Man is just dead. I think a lot of the key thing there for Liquid was they tried to take an engagement that, after getting the Aegis burned, it should maybe have been just the stop signal.
It was a really good start to the fight. They got like a 3-man snowball over several heroes. They killed most of the forts to start with. Obviously the eye relocated away, but I think they just got a bit greedy, like feeling the fight was going well. And when you feel the fight's going well, you don't have the same ability we do. You just
Radiant's
keep
top
going.
tower
Your team's
is under
like
attack.
feeding off the momentum, the fight's going well.
Yeah. They, of course, don't have full map vision. Maybe your teammates die, you're not 100% sure. Everybody's yelling in the
Radiant's
TeamSpeak,
top
and
tower
666
is
is
under
looking
attack.
for someone.
Radiant's
No one to
structures
find though.
are
They're just pushing
fortified.
towers with the Tiny. He's
Radiant's
picking up
middle
his
tower
AC.
is under attack.
Yeah,
Hitting like a truck.
he is hitting, as you said, like a truck, but maybe he's overstayed his welcome, but they have backup. Io is there, ready to relocate if needs, and just instead pops that overcharge. They're gonna force them around with that flame break, but now mind control. He is silenced up, having already used those Guardian Greaves a few seconds earlier, and
Radiant's
that's gonna
top
be the
tower
end
is
of
under
that.
attack.
Yeah, really nice taking the tower, knowing their limits. Probably gonna chill a tiny bit and look to regen up and take the tier 2 top.
And 666 is in position. Perhaps he was just actually cutting a hidey hole for himself.
Nicely tucked away there.
Oh, there comes the
Decent
Hawk.
the Hawk.
And it looks like a gank is coming out. There is the Primal Roar. Relocate coming in as well. Mind Control gonna go down. Is anybody else from Liquid gonna come in and help? And no, Kuroki deciding this is way too dangerous. He does have Blink Force Staff. He maybe could have pulled someone out there, but of course, you're up against some really scary heroes, and he may have gone down instead. And this is just, oh my goodness, look at this tower melt.
Radiant's top tower has
Necropokora in a Beast Aura, Tiny Axe. Towers.
AC.
They literally flop like creeps.
So.
And Drum Aura as well, I guess. You know?
Oh yeah, forgot about that one. They do manage to get the pick off on Always Wanna Fly, and now they should be cleanly out. And they are.
Way. They just have to keep doing things like that. If they can manage to draw them around the map, maybe kill one hero like they just did, kill the Wisp. It's probably going to be the Bane or the Night Stalker more than not. And then just don't die to things like this.
Fiend's Grip on Matomba Man, just gonna get autoed down. He actually gets the spin off instead of the Avalanche coming out. Not quite sure if something was cancelled there. A Winter's Coast gonna slow everything down, and Jerax doesn't have a TP. That's...
Iceberg fucked up there. He tossed the Bane mid-grip as opposed to avalanching first, which would have been more than enough, so instantly cancelled it.
Yeah.
Matumba was obviously mashing spin, so unfortunate. Missed kill.
The fact that 666 escaped there with his boar slowing Kuroki too much that he couldn't do anything on the Bat Rider is really unfortunate. I don't know if you saw that, but Bat just couldn't move under the boar slow.
I was watching bottom, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's actually not farming too badly considering he's a support, but yeah, you just haven't felt his impact this game, mostly because of the vision.
Yeah, it does feel
And
like...
when they were behind.
It does feel like it's really hard for them to go in anyway here, and instead we're having 666 Glimmer Cape initiation, Primal Roar, it's gonna come out now, Matomba Man is there. They don't have Fiend's Grip this time, but they have more than enough damage and the relocate to finish it off, and that is good by Matomba Man. This game, Liquid, falling further and further behind, it feels like. How do you get back into this? You mentioned they just have to get pickoffs around the map, but I'm not sure that's even enough. Maybe you pick off the IO somewhere, Tiny's knocking on your front door.
Right now, it's probably going to be overextensions from CIS into the base, because the high ground defense from Liquid's not bad. If you can manage to maybe bait the relocate out just from like harassing the Tiny or something, then you initiate with the Bat Rider, or you somehow cancel the reload with a Flame Break or the Tusk. It kind of just has to be a mistake, I think.
Now
They've got so many ways of getting out from what Liquid have.
we have got the longest Splinter Blast I've ever seen, but Jerax is going to be the one who takes the tumble and gets shot from half health by the Tiny. He didn't even have his DD active there. By the way, he has one of those in a bottle. So.
Yeah, and Afterlife's finding Kuroki. He's healer, so I think he's going to fall.
Yeah. Goodbye, Kuroki. Just the slow, inevitable death from Afterlife. I feel like... I don't want to say it's...
Batrider.
Yeah. Oh, support Batrider as well. I don't feel like it's necessarily over yet. I certainly think Liquid can take it, but their high ground defense... They have Sonic Wave, they have Ice Shards to push out these creep waves, and of course the Scream. Kuroki would need to get a drag back of Dreams, and it feels like they'd almost maybe need 2 forced offs to get him the distance.
Even then, I think Teva's long enough. So, I think they have to just cancel the relocate. And as you say, get the Tiny into their tier 4s. It just relies on CIS making a mistake. If the IO's on the ball, or if the Tiny doesn't like run out of tether range or do something stupid, then I don't think Liquid can defend easily. They need to like kill the creep waves before they get past this. They can't do right now.
Yeah, the game just got harder because we have a Lotus Orb up on Afterlife, and now we've got the pull in. The Lotus Orb a little too late, but weird snowball interactions, and there's an Omni Slash going around onto the enemy team because of that. Iceberg actually Omni Slashing them. That's more than enough damage, and now Fodder is going to fall. This is going to be a Rax. A nice Winter's Curse. Goldblack dies to his own allies, but they should be able to get the Rax easy peasy here.
Rax.
Yeah, it is going down.
4 shots with a DD.
Yeah, so now Iceberg gonna just kill this off. Fodder is unfortunately maybe gonna actually get a kill here. Iceberg going down. I'm really surprised that they overstayed their welcome.
That was like ideal scenario there because the Wisp already tethered to the Tiny for the overcharge, I suppose, and then Kuroki was able to jump in, break the tether. Mind Control also managed to cancel the relocate, but it didn't matter. He was only going to relocate himself away. So that's the one thing the Wisp can't be doing, because the Tiny doesn't need the attack speed. He kills the towers on his own. No worries. You just need to be there to stop that happening.
Yeah, despite that, Night Stalker is farming well. He got out of that. He has a gem. He has a Lotus Orb, which we saw do some good work last team fight. It also just makes the team fights harder for Liquid because you're worried about Lotus Orb being a target where, you know, maybe you lasso yourself, you might return the Winter's Curse, you have to worry about Omni Slash.
Yeah, it's I don't think you can purge the lasso with it, right?
You can't purge it, but it returns it, and you can cast it. We've talked about this with the Lotus Orb before, but you can cast it as someone else is doing their animation. So it's only
a bit harder with that, right?
Yeah.
But
it's only a normal
measure.
dispel. So it only dispels most of the slows in the game. Normal dispel. There's a list, folks. So
I feel like anything that purges Hex purges everything else. That's just my head, because like Hex is the best disable in the game almost. So just in my head. But even with the Tiny dying, they still get a rack, so I think it's a very favorable trade for them.
yeah, they definitely lost out a little bit on the last team fight, but they're still quite a ways ahead, although the experience gap is closing, and something I wanted to point out is Juggernaut's gone for a Battle Fury. I guess deciding they're gonna have to go late game or just really hoping for lucky bounces in his Omni Slash.
And I don't think they're gonna get the chance because Tiny's getting his Aegis again now.
Yeah, this is what they've been waiting for. Tiny, nigh untouchable. The Battle Fury, yes, Cleave ignores evasion, but I don't think that's going to be enough against Tiny. Somebody needs an MKB on this team, and everybody who could be going it is a long way away from it. And has to worry about buybacks at this point in the game if you're Team Liquid.
Top tower is under attack.
I kind of feel like buybacks are going to be irrelevant here. The supports, definitely, but for the cores,
Dire's top tower
I think they need as many items as they can get here because it's Hail Mary defense. If you lose, your base is gone. As long as the Tiny's still alive, which I'm presuming he will be. So, for Liquid, if the creeps get like within this vicinity of the base and Tiny just walks up, I think he takes the racks regardless of what you do, minus any misplays from CIS. So if Fada's able to like go far enough out, scream or wave the creeps, maybe an Ice Shard as well from the Tusk, they can delay the push for quite a while. I think that's like their only way of defending here, because they can get picked off so easily. Goblak nearly manages to find Fada in the woods, but unfortunately blink to the blink.
We've got Tusk working on what I think is going to be a Heaven's Halberd. I like it, especially considering Tiny doesn't have a BKB yet. But I also feel like if someone on Liquid, maybe Kuroki, since he's the next, he's farming pretty well on the bat, a Lotus Orb would help them a lot as well. Primal Roar,
Yeah.
the silence coming out, and all of the damage coming out of Night Stalker. You can certainly do fun things with the Fiend's Grip
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Also purge the silence as well, it's really important. And the armor's not bad either, but I have a feeling he's probably going to go for buyback into bots. Item priority. Allowing him to cut the wave.
Yeah.
Maybe he can sell his bottle instead of buying the BOTs. Or his wand, and they get a Lotus Orb. Or something clunky like an Ags or a Refresher.
Yeah, I don't...
Go for the big plays.
I don't think the bots here are, like, super helpful just because of the stage in the game. So...
It allows him to do what he's doing now a tiny bit more efficiently, though. Being able to, like, maybe you get level 2 bots and TP onto someone, like, there are options with it. I agree it's not ideal.
Oh gosh, Gold Black, he was cliff jungling, now he blinks forwards, but oh gosh, the Cold Embrace! I thought he was gonna Winter's Burst Gold Black, and there it goes, but they've got the Primal Roar onto Jerax, who's suddenly no mana, and since Winter's Curse is down, it's a support for a support. But High Ground Siege...
That's favourable.
Yep, High Ground Siege much easier. Oh, I would say actually, I'm happy about High Ground Sieging without having to worry about Winter's Curse, is what I was gonna say. And also having a DD.
I completely agree with that, but if you look strictly at the trade, Liquid are much happier losing their Wyvern than they are losing their Cloth. Fortunately, there's another DD on Tiny and this happens.
Yeah, and he's trying to go in. We've got Wyvern buying back, but they should know there's no Winter's Curse for CIS Rejects, and they might just overcharge Iceberg and send him right back in, although Kuro, he's trying to say, hey, I might blink lasso someone.
They do have to be a tiny bit careful, not let the same thing happen that last time. They've got 20 seconds on the reload, they'll probably wait for that, and then the Bane will also be up, and then they can go. So maybe next creep wave, actually.
It is close, though, if you wait for the next creep wave on the Roshan. They have about a minute and a half at this point on the Aegis, and you don't want to draw it that close, because sometimes you lose it before you use it.
Yeah, those moments are really painful to watch, but I think there's plenty of time here. If the Tiny just goes, it'll be Rax and back if they don't take the Aegis.
Yep. Night Stalker also, is that going to be an Octarine?
I don't think he's going to have time. I think this could be game-ending push.
But what else could it be?
Yeah, it will be an Octarine,
Oh
but I'm
my
just saying
goodness.
I'm not sure I'll have time to finish it.
What's the uptime on nighttime when you do that?
It's permanent.
Oh goodness, Matamba Man taking so much cleave damage. Iceberg getting ready to go in. He's gonna get hooked up. Hiroki though hooks himself, and now Iceberg relocated to safety. 666 has gone in though. He's isolated because of this, and Fodder, while he is Fiend Script, it doesn't matter because the rest of his team is doing so well. The relocate's gonna bring him back in at full health, and again, checking that Aegis time, he's got less than a minute left on it, but here comes Tiny. There is an avalanche, there is a toss. Fodder being slightly locked down, pops that BKB, balls to the face, not bothering anyone, and Always Wanna Fly taking a lot of damage on the backline. Can Matamba Man bring down Always Wanna Fly? Iceberg instead trying to still beat away. He does have Aegis, but they're ignoring him, I think, understanding they don't want him back up at full health. But now, if they're ignoring him, he's gonna go in on the Rax, and Fodder trying to use the Shivas to slow him down. They have to kill Iceberg, I think. Another Lotus Orb. Here comes the Aegis finally being burnt, but he just gets the Rax off the back of it. It's in 666. He's ready to go in again. He's getting 4-star forwards on the Iceberg. He's trying to turn around with the sticky napalm. Look at his turn radius. He's nightmared up, and now Mind Control. Physically immune. Iceberg just gonna try to walk it off, but I think he goes down here. But then there's the Purge from the Lotus Orb, walking it off. He's also in the Glimmer Cape, and I think Iceberg is home free. They should have seen him off to the side, but it's nighttime instead. They're trying to chase out onto Blinking Away 666, and a really good engagement for CIS.
Nice teamwork, keeping their Tiny up there with the Wisp down. I was pretty sure they'd managed to chase him down, but not having any detection for the Glimmer Cape. That item's just so annoying to play against when you don't have slots at 40 minutes into a game on most of your cores.
No slots, maybe
Still have to
your
get
supports not being terribly formed, all of that contributing heavily.
Yeah, that item needs like removing from the game, I'm pretty sure. It's been nerfed so much, but it's stupidly hard to play against at this point when your Tusk has no item slots. But okay, he could sell a stick, so feasibly he has item slots. Winter Wyvern's normally not in range to do the dust. Batrider only goes in once, it feels like. Obviously Jug wants as much stats as he can, because he's already fairly squishy.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a Shadow Blade for Kuroki. I understand the reasoning here. He needs to be able to get off that Flaming Lasso without being Lotus Orbed, because it's being choreographed pretty well right now, but I don't know if it's enough.
There's a gem and a Night Stalker with... It's not permanent, it is very close to permanent Night.
I think...
So, I think the Shadow Blade's just a waste of 3k here.
The other thing we haven't talked about, though, is it turns the Lotus Orb uptime to half, which is ridiculous, right?
It definitely helps on that as well.
Like, it helps with that, it helps with the silence. This silence already, well, that's not the silence. This silence already really good. Okay, the silence has 1 second where it won't be up.
And the miss chance as well, you can't forget that. If
Yeah.
it's on Jug, after he mantas,
And he doesn't have an MKV or anything yet.
they can't even catch him. Like, they smoke out trying to break it, but because there's a darkness off, and he just runs away. He doesn't even have, like, a blink or anything.
Yeah.
Phases and moves away.
Oh, he's gonna run right into them. Fiend's Grip onto Fodder with the BKB. It's gonna be completely wasted, and here comes Icepoke. Fodder should be able to blink over to the side here, though. Primal Roar used onto Jerax, and if there's no Winter's Curse, what are they gonna do? Fodder taking a lot of damage here as well. He's already used Blink, Mind Control in the thick of it, and Kuroki off to the side. Has he even used the Flaming Lasso? His TP is stopped, and he won't get it off. He doesn't have buyback either. A Sonic Wave comes out, does a bit of damage to 666, but I don't think Icepoke cares. No care in the world. Going in, auto-attacking down people. He's even got a Solar Crest on him, and he's still hitting like a truck. He's not missing nearly as much as they want. He finally misses one there, but Mind Control gonna fall to that toss, and this could just be GG. I think they'll try to hold it out, but with no buybacks, what does Liquid do?
They throw their bodies at CIS and
Radiant's
hope it
middle
works
barracks
out.
are under attack.
Very hopefully. Maybe
good.
just begging in all chat.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
we
think
can.
it's gonna work.
We're seeing the thing on Fodder. He is silenced for 8 seconds, and he's about to be silenced again, or just dead. And that means that they buy back on Fodder. We'll have a Sonic Wave up in a little bit. It looks like Matamba Man also trying to do something on the back line. He's got up a Mask of Madness at this stage in the game, and it is too little, too late.
Is under attack.
And goodbye to. Oh, hello, Megas. Goodbye, Supers.
Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
Picking up the mask is understandable because it's extremely valuable in terms of damage output,
Yes.
but it's too little too late.
Oh, they get the Cold Embrace and the Lasso. This is kind of funky. Sorry, Winter's Curse and Lasso. It drags people backwards more than one. They've killed off the Beastmaster. Icepoke, though, pounds away at Jerax. Fodder maybe going to be the next target of choice. Sonic Waves onto them, does a bunch of damage, but there is finally the GG call coming out of Liquid, and we are going to a Game 3. Fodder dead.
Middle tower is under
Alright,
attack.
so I think game 3, you ban Husk away from Jerax, your CIS, and you ban CIS is worse if you're Liquid, maybe. Unless first pick changes around, like it did from the first game, then maybe the bans will change up a bit, because I know Liquid also play really good IO.
Yeah, it swaps each game. You get your choice of first pick or side, and I can't remember who got it last time, but some teams clearly have preferences. Either way, we'll get you right into that Game 3, folks. Once again, this is Star Ladder. Star Ladder Europe, CIS Rejects versus Team Liquid. We are Llama Down Under and PqMz. We'd love your feedback on how to get better. It's a bit of a sleepy coast. We're trucking along, getting more tea as we speak, and we will get you right into that third game after words from our sponsor. Please leave that feedback on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook.